So far I've given 10 starters a Paradox form. Today it is time to add 5 other starters to that mix. I've tried my best to make these unique and better than the previous ones. I hope I've succeeded on that part, and let's see if I made another fan favorite. Our first target is a future form of Scorbunny. I do quickly want to mention that we're using the Traced method again, just to stay close to the original pieces. At first I thought this would be an incredibly easy transformation. I do have to say that I didn't necessarily struggle with the drawing itself, but the end result is definitely not what I had hoped for. I just thought it would look amazing whenever I added the screen onto his face, but the dark grey color just doesn't fit Scorbunny. Usually the shiny recovers future forms, purely because it looks like a robot then. But this time, not even the shiny looked cool. I am sorry for not making this thing look better, but hey, the rest of the drawings are pretty cool. Iron Hubs, the Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon can generate huge amounts of fire energy when running. Once it's fully charged, it can jump with so much strength, which makes him able to float for hours upon hours. We do believe that it has a way to use the energy to stay afloat, but we're not yet sure how they actually do it. They also seem to be kind and easy to befriend, so they aren't a threat, at least not yet. Like I said before, this is not my best piece, and I'm definitely not in love with it. I think that the effect gets ruined because of its white color. Luckily, our next piece might turn out to be your new favorite, so let's have a look at that one. Our next up is a past form of Turtwig. This was a piece I knew was going to be fire. I just knew Turtwig had a lot of potential to be turned prehistoric. I did struggle a bit to find something I was happy with. Especially the plan on his head was difficult to get right. I did eventually manage to get an incredible design by just adding small features like his teeth, tiny claws, pointed head, horns, and a bigger shell. For the colors I did what I usually do for past forms. Keep them very similar, but just a bit darker. I am very proud of this piece, and I really think you guys will love him too. Thorny Twig, the Paradox Pokemon. It is said that Thorny Twig was a carnivorous beast who speedily and stealthily attacked our prey. It blends in perfectly with nature whenever it lays still enough. It eventually started feeding on plants, which made running no longer necessary. As a result, it lost its speed, and its descendants are far slower than their ancestors once were. Even though this Pokemon might look cute, don't try to pet it. It's very dangerous because of its incredible bite force. Man, I love this design so much. It was definitely worth the wait. I also really like the shiny. I did change the color of its leaf, so it would actually differ a bit from its original shiny. I think I should stop making these forms, because my brain is really starting to crave for these guys to come into the games. Let's just hope Game Freak is watching. Our third Pokemon is a future form of Poplio. This was another one where I was quite confident that I would be able to pull it off easily. Luckily, I was right this time. It didn't take me long to get a good grip of where I want to go with this piece. I really think that this is my second favorite future form I've made so far, even though I don't really like Poplio itself. I'm just happy that we're still able to make good future forms. Iron Flipper, the Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon is able to snort body fluids from its nose. It forms large bubbles which are extremely powerful. Iron Flipper does look similar to Poplio, but this form seems to have psychic powers as well. Luckily, it does appear to be friendly and a great tool for diving excursions. I can't believe I managed to make a form of Poplio I actually like. This was just a starter I never really bonded with. I do think I've done him justice with this form, and that the Poplio fans will probably agree with me on that. I do want to mention that usually the shiny will only have colors on their lighted areas, but I tried changing the nose to grey, but that just didn't look right. That's why I went for a light pink color, and I think that works pretty well too. Our next target is a future form of Cyndaquil. This piece suffered the same issues Iron Hub struggled with. The dark colors just didn't fit him. Since Cyndaquil's body is closer to pure white than it is to black, I had to do something different for the flames on its back than usual as well. It looked awful without the yellow part, so I just threw the paradox rules out of the window and added it back into the flames. I am very happy with the way I shaded this piece, because that really saved the design, and I actually think it doesn't look that bad. Iron Quill, The Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon appears to be timid. It never attacks on its own and loves to stay curled up into a ball. When provoked, Iron harbors tremendous firepower and can easily take down groups of Pokemon. Even though it might be timid, trainers are able to catch it when they approach it with enough caution and patience. I will say that this isn't my favorite future form I've made so far, but I do think I've shaded the piece in a very good way. This made me realize that the coloring is probably the only thing I don't love about the design. I would still definitely shiny hunt it though. And yeah, it isn't as bad as Iron Hops. Last week I asked for 1700 subscribers and we got there. Beautiful. Can we go to 1800 this week? Our last Pokemon is a past form for my favorite Pokemon ever, Torchic. For this piece I wanted to use the real life information that chickens are far down descendants from dinosaurs. I thought it would be cool to turn Torchic into a dinosaur looking creature with arms instead of those tiny wings. I worked on this piece for quite a long time because I just didn't get the legs to work. I eventually stumbled on a cool design where his legs are a bit more developed and muscular. I also gave him extended head feathers to make him look bigger than he actually is, so he's able to use intimidation as well. I did feel like the design wasn't finished yet. This is why I decided to do the silhouette test, which showed me that he needed a big tail in order to fill up the empty space on the right. The piece really came to life when I put in the colors, and the shading finished up the design perfectly. Just wait until you see the shiny. It looks fire. Feather Flare, the Paradox Pokemon. This Pokemon seems to be a distant relative of Torchic. There do appear to be relatively new sightings of this Pokemon. Scientists are trying to figure out how that is possible, because it's tearing up the local ecosystems. This Pokemon is extremely aggressive and seems to hunt for fun. It appears that this Pokemon never had such easy prey before. Be warned trainers, Featherflare is not an easy catch, but if you try, make sure to catch him before he catches you. I am extremely happy with this piece, and boy would I shiny hunt this thing. I do want to mention that someone suggested that we should call this thing Prehistoric. I really love that name, but I had to follow the Paradox rules for naming this creature, and I think Featherflare is a pretty good name as well. I also feel like this is a design who would really pop off when it evolves into a dinosaur like Blaziken. I might be biased towards Hoenn starters, but they are definitely my favorite designs out of all of them I made so far. Let's hope I can top all of those designs in the episode for next week. I do have to say that this was a weird episode. We had 3 designs which were incredible, but the other 2 are mediocre at best. I am talking about Iron Hops and Iron Quill. Let me know how you would fix these designs and send them in our Discord because I would love to see your take on these. Well, goodbye.